Let's see, hopefully this is working. Alright, cool. So I don't know why it wasn't... Huh. I don't know why it wasn't working earlier. It was... preview wasn't... Alright, hello and welcome to Lord of the Rings Online with, I guess, Alexander or Benjamin Kresge, whatever. Alright, sharing. And copy. Alright. So there's that. So I am just gonna be running around doing something. Oh, this controller needs to get put down. Just gonna be running around doing kind of usual little stuff. Having fun. Let me... Okay, so he's not online, I don't think. No. He's not. Okay. That sucks. But, so we're gonna be just doing the usual. Running around. Let's see if we can get any creeps today. Usually it's pretty easy to get a few of them. I'm working on a video how to, really on any server, how to get creeps to show up. And we'll slowly be working on a video set with some friends and other players that have the same excitement about Lord of the Rings PvMP that I do. And we're just gonna work on those and show, you know, maybe you on another server or you on our server how to grow your PvMP community so it can be as, maybe not as big number-wise as other servers, Arkenstone or Evernight, but definitely active. Because we certainly about a year and a half ago, I would say, yeah, about a year and a half ago, before things went totally downhill due to a slew of issues. We're working on building it up again. And we need to get the developers to care just as much. And so myself and a few other players put together this giant PvMP suggestion thread. We want your comments on there. We want your ideas. And we want you to fill out the couple of polls we have in there. And we're slowly working on making new ones. And also figuring out ideas that you guys, everybody has had. And we just want to have them explained out. I will say, because eventually somebody might be watching this in the future, frankly saying, hey, I just want it to go back the way it was, isn't really what anyone wants. Oh, hey, look at that. That's actually where I was going. The fact of the matter is, like, if you know, they rolled it back to level 50, they rolled it back to level 75, whatever exactly, as a lot of these players are saying. Not even, like, a large amount, but a lot of really loud, mostly loud players, people who just complain and, like a broken record. Right? They'll complain about everything. You roll it back and they'll say, oh, well, it isn't exactly the same. The fact of the matter is, the only reason why Arkenstone PvP is good, the only reason why PvP was good in the past was not because there was, you know, it's not because there was, it was great map or whatever, because frankly, there's really not much different except for a few changed locations. It was, the fact that there are so many players. That's what it boils down to. There were a lot of players. A lot more players than there are now. Maybe there might be about, about 2,000 players online on all the servers combined at any time. Maybe double that. So we'll say 4,000, right? And maybe about 10 to 20,000 people who play throughout the month. Different people who play every month. Oh man, let's flip both those outposts. That's kind of scary. So, but you could, you could argue that, like, because of very famous players, such as Miragash or Arctic Wolf or, whoever, Chili, Zamimi, Snowlock, whoever, that's why it was so great. And yeah, sure, those guys contributed a lot. But, like, I've contributed a lot. I've played with all of them. I assisted and kind of spearheaded, so to speak, the charge in reviving Lord of the Rings PvP. I worked on that document. I'm looking for people constantly who want to help and have the same kind of a view about how PvP should be as I do, which is that it should be there for fun. And let's see. Okay, about 150,000 exactly, almost. And they have very similar or the same views as I do, which is like, hey, it's here for fun. You don't need to, you shouldn't exploit, you shouldn't cheat, no spying, there's no point in taunting. There's no point in being an asshole to the guy who's literally the reason that you can play the game, because it's PvP. And there's some people who have the mindset of, oh, well, it's PvP, it has to be toxic. We went for 2 years with about 200 players to 400 players that played on a weekly basis with a 24-man raid pretty much on each side, 24/7, with Russians, Chinese players, people from Europe, all over Europe, South Africa. We had a couple people from the Philippines, a couple people from Brazil, a lot of people from the USA, a lot of people from Canada, and quite a few people from Australia on the west and the east side. And, just all around the world. And they weren't assholes to each other. They did not sit here and spend their time, because they were just so focused on, like, hey, I'm just going to play this game and have fun. And sure, taunting can be fun, and you can go do that to your friends in private, but man, it just causes people to quit. And the fact of the matter is, since there's no advertisement for Lord of the Rings Online, there is very little advertisement for Lord of the Rings Online. And with the new Amazon MMO coming out, along with the new Amazon series, if Lord of the Rings Online does not up their advertisement, online, offline, Amazon's going to get all the new Lord of the Rings players. And whether or not that game is great, good or bad, most of those people aren't even going to, try LotRO, because they never heard of it. And they might see it here and there because they're looking at Lord of the Rings. They type in Lord of the Rings MMO, this will pop up. But more likely than not, because of Amazon, it'll pop up, and you're just competing with such a huge company. And frankly, if they don't start advertising now that people are hyped about Lord of the Rings thing next year, you're not going to get more players, which in turn, they're not going to get more money, and they're not going to get more you're not going to get better PvP unless you build it. And frankly, by being an asshole to players, they're not going to want to play, and they're going to quit. And you're not going to be able to build your PvP. So, and yeah, there are some super thin-skinned people, right? But like, if your whole point is to go out and just taunt people and cause problems, you're literally the reason why there aren't so many people playing LotR, why there aren't so many people doing PvP. And sure, there are other issues with it, like the fact that a Berg can solo Tolas Garnon, or the fact that the NPCs are super weak, or the fact that a lot of the creep classes currently right now are very overpowered, along with the fact that they're also underpowered in other ways. Like, a lot of the passives are broken. You can only build a specific way. And that's just, that's one thing. There's all sorts of stuff. Oh, also, hello, and welcome to the stream, by the way. But to grow it, you gotta be, you have to be adamant about not, you have to be adamant about making sure everybody has fun, because once those people quit, once they leave the game, it's really hard to get them to come back. Especially without there being advertisements and stuff to get them hyped for the game. And sure, sure, people come back a lot when there's events, when there's festivals, when there's a new expansion, and the trick is keeping them. And that's where the developers can come in if they do some of our changes in the post below. They do even just the ones that are labeled as #1s, and they say, hey, this is a PvP update. A ton of people will come back, because people still monitor the forums and whatnot. But certainly making it the way it used to be, quote-unquote, is not going to make the game better. It's not going to fix it. It's not going to, it's not going to do any of that stuff. So right now, well, that sucks. Well, so right now we are waiting to see if there's going to be a creep that comes up here. If there's going to be anyone that pops up here. Oh, okay. Maybe you're having connection issues. Oh, well, hello anyway. So it doesn't look like there's going to be a creep mapping in here, which kind of stinks. I was hoping to get a little fight. Let's go back and check the outpost. Keep watching behind us, though, because sometimes they're slow to load. Even though they did come in. Doesn't look like we got anything, though. Oh, was that a... No, I thought I saw a black arrow, just a Coldfell's Hunters. Okay, so it looks like we don't have any of that. Also, hello, viewer. This is Lord of the Rings Online. Oh. keeps going up to 2 and then back to 2, 1, 2, 1. Must be some sort of connection issues or something, I don't know. That's okay though. We will go flip this other outpost. Do I want to do Eyes and Deep Outpost? Let's go check TR. I don't want to... I'd be willing to bet with how fast they flip those two that we will have. Oh, dang it. Some people trying to take TR, excuse me. So how are you doing today? I don't know if you are even signed in on a YouTube account or want to reply, so I hope you're having a good day. I'm having a good day. Took off work yesterday early, and and hello third person. I hope you enjoy it, enjoy the stream, and that you're having fun. And yeah. Right now we're just looking for some creeps. We're on Brandywine, so it's kind of on, you know, it's there or not there. But we did see some outposts flip earlier, so I flipped one of them back. Hopefully we can get us some creeps to kill, which should not be an issue. Because... Hey, how you doing? It's me. I want to guess Justin. Next time you're home, we gotta hang out. Me and you. Or I should say, next time you're on the West Coast. Yes, I miss you too, Mom. That hurricane's going past you, right? Okay, just gonna head over here, see what we got. It's a red TA. You don't know? But you're not worried about it? I still like how... So we had a couple of really big storms here up in Washington. Like, hurricane force sort of stuff. And I was watching on the news, they were like, yeah, if this was labeled as a hurricane, it'd be like a Cat whatever, Cat 3 or Cat 4 or whatever. And they go, but we're on the west coast, so we just call it a tropical cyclone, because that's what every storm is. We just have better infrastructure up here, and they have more resilient people down there. What do we got? I'm gonna flip this really quick. You enjoying it down there? Nice and sunny, nice and warm. Sunshine State. How is the food? That is what I'm most curious about, because I haven't been there in quite a while. The food? You've had better. Oh. You've definitely had better. Yeah, I hate getting stunned. It's like the worst part about this game. So they don't have PvP gear. Well, the 120 PvP gear. So it gets really frustrating because you'll be sitting here and you'll be like fighting like an NPC like that or fighting bad guys, and the PvP gear reduces the amount of time you get stunned and how often you get stunned. And since they don't have that, they you get stunned a lot. Oh, um, did your dad like apply for a job or something? Both your siblings are kind of up here, so your brother's staying with us right now, and I think your sister's in Oregon. They want him back. Hey, your dad's a really good worker. I mean, your whole family is, so. Now the real question is, are they going to pay him enough? They're going to pay him enough to come back. Oh, you didn't know? Yeah, Chase is... Well, so him and Nick are right now in Eastern Washington, in the potholes, camping for the weekend. But he's been here for like 2 weeks, like at our house.
Can't a body be left alone?
Oh, woe is me.
Yeah, I'm doing school and work kind of at the same time, so back and forth. Oh, Tortman got killed by a spider.
Can I take a moment of your time?
Yeah, I heard you were doing your job and having school. Hey, I mean, it's good. Do you know that means you're smart. Like, welcome, welcome. Oh, we got some bad guys around here. Ooh. Let's see, Aerodor. Oh, Tyvos is here. Cool. But yeah, yeah, they like to do that. Like, oh, hey, you're smart. Like, you shouldn't be doing kind of grunt work, so... Let's see if we can find anyone. Some bad guys. I mean, that sounds like grunt work to me. Oh, just lagged a bit there. Oh! Aw, man, I thought... I saw him doing an animation, so I thought he was attacking. It missed that guy. We're, alright. Let's go get this outpost. Hopefully some creeps show up. If not, that's kind of suck. Yeah, it's like 11 o'clock for you, isn't it? You gonna go to bed? Or are you going to bed soon? Alright. Well, it was good catching up with you. I will, we will hang out sometime. Maybe I'll go down to Florida. Nice. 63k hit, followed by a 16k hit. Oh, hey, let's go over there. I'll make sure all the people on YouTube send you a text message. The 3 other viewers. Oh boy. Yeah, because they don't want you to they don't want you to give out your phone number to people on the internet. I mean, you already did. I will text you after this stream. Let's see if we got some creeps here. Have a good one, Justin. Alright. So there's Tyvos is running around here, and he's also looking for some creeps. So now we got a buddy who will help us. I think you were going to bed, Justin. Just an open field. Hmm. Oh, darn, was hoping. Do I have any quest items enough? I have some more. Also, welcome, Watcher number 4. And hello. So we're just running around the moors looking for some crepes. We'll go check out Graham's Foot. Let's aim that up that way. See if we got anyone killing slugs. Oh, hello. As they say in Russia, it's... crap. I can't remember how to pronounce it. I love the broken textures. Ah! Lugs auto-flipped. That's no good. Just look at that broken texture wall over there. It's just so bad. I love it. In 64-bit, it actually looks right. It's... yeah, it's kind of empty, but we're working on... like, on Arkenstone, it's pretty packed, but like, on Arkenstone, you just sit there at Graham's, or at GV, because they just camp. I'm working on, with a group of players, rebuilding some PvP, so that it'll be back to how it was, like, about a year ago. A little over, yeah, about a year ago, where it was, like, 24 to 44 to 48, and the largest amount of people we had on was, like, 130, like, combined on both sides. One was, like, 60-something, and the other one was, like, 70 players. So we're trying to do that again and get it to that point. But I guess right now not a lot of people are playing, but usually in the morning time for me, which is like your evening time, there's at least 10 15 people running around combined on this server. On Arkenstone and stuff, it's usually emptier on that day, on that time. And it has to do with how all the creeps are just in a better position right now than the freeps are. Not because creeps are super overpowered, it's just because it's really hard to get gear for the freeps. Because there's no PvP gear. And they have only, they only have, the best gear for the Freep is you have to go through and you have to do Tier 1, and then you have to do Tier 2, and then you have to do Tier 3, and you have to do Tier 3 like 7 times. And now with the newest quest pack, you now have to redo all that stuff so that you can get the anvil, so you can get the best, or so you can get the rhymes, so that you can get the best gear and all that. And it's just so much extra work that is unnecessary. And they just need to add some PvP gear so that the Freeps can go out and fight. And so the numbers don't go down when there's an update. which is what that post in the description is about. It's about all these changes that we kind of wrote up that would help grow and fix PvP. It's all so. I hope you check it out. It's pretty good. Alright, first martial ons are running off. Yeah, 65 cap. There were a ton of people. And I actually went over this in the beginning of the stream. But it's just because they don't advertise anymore. They just gave up advertising for the game. And so even though there's like this new Amazon game coming out and a new Amazon television series coming out for Lord of the Rings, they're not going to get any people because of that, because they're not advertising. And oh yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. And with them getting rid of the loot boxes, because they had loot boxes, and there used to be a lot of people who would, you'd be able to grind out the old loot boxes, and the old loot boxes had a chance to give you mithril coins. And you could buy 6-hour passes with mithril coins. So I knew a lot of people, like, and this is one of the really big things that just killed a lot of the PvP on a lot of servers, is that players could no longer grind for LotRO points, and they couldn't use those LotRO points to buy the sturdy steel keys to open the loot boxes that give you mithril coins. And so a lot of people would just buy those 6-hour passes instead of subscribing because it was free. It just required a little bit of grinding. And now you can't do that anymore. And so a lot of people just quit the game because you can't just, because you have to pay money regardless in order to play on the free side. And I would understand if PvP was, you know, there were a ton of people who played it, right? And there was a reason for you to play. For example, first stage legendary items or other things like that. You know, like actually good things, such, or, you know, cheaper upgrades for LIs, its own set of gear, special cosmetics that are, you know, and actual rewards for PvP that would warrant why you pay for it. But, like, you can get the rest of the game for free, and you can't get the PvP for free anymore. Like, that makes no sense. So they end up losing so much money when they did that, because all the people who played for free quit, and now all the people who, most of the people who pay to play PvP quit, because there's all those people who pay for free aren't there. They aren't there to give them that sorry. They're not there to give them that fight, because there's just so many less people. And they really just screwed themselves over in their conquest to attempt to, you know, get as much money as they possibly could. They ended up losing a lot of money. Because they were like, oh, we gotta... Yeah, they kind of fixed the one-shotting thing. So, like, now you can't really get one-shot anymore. Like, even a burglar hitting a random, you know, kind of similar ranked creep, you can't really one-shot. Yeah, I remember. But yeah, they added loot boxes that let you get mithril coin so that you could buy it for free. You know, you could get the thing for free. And now you can't because they removed those loot boxes. Now you got this crappy Adventurer Steel loot box with 250 LotRO points per key. That's bullcrap. And plus it doesn't give you actual stuff. It gives you just some garbage armor and some garbage items. And it's just a joke. It's insulting, like, to players. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They only care, unfortunately, they only care about just, you know, like, filling their pockets right now. Like, just the fact that they have a job. They're not as passionate about their game as they were. And a lot of people have just quit the company and gone to other companies because they just can't be passionate about the game anymore. And it's sad. And so one of the reasons why I actually started doing the live streams and stuff and like playing a bunch of different games and trying to get subscribers and whatnot is because I wanted to use my channel kind of as an advertisement for them. Because I'm frankly sick and tired of not having people. I'm sick and tired of coming out here when having no people to fight. And I don't want to go to Arkenstone because there's just so much, just everything. Cordovan can answer any question up to level 50. He even went... When he did a live stream... Oh man, it was so funny. So people were talking about how he was going to do... Or convinced him to do a live stream in the Enmores. So he did it. I believe he did it. Either that or the server he's planning on doing the live stream on is on a server that there's not PvP. And I'm just looking at it, I'm like... And I just look at it and go, man, you gotta... Oh, boy. Yeah, but, like, I can see all the hard work that he does. You know, he does all these... He does a little too much charity things and for the game, or for, like, than I think that you should do. And he does a little bit too much, of what he wants to do over what he should be doing. Right? Like, you'd expect him to be at the end game and, you know, maybe have a kinship of his own that he was running. Or maybe a kinship of developers. You know, there's a difference between a community manager or developers that play their game, and there's a difference of community managers and developers that are good at their game. For example, Stellaris by Paradox Studios. Those guys, they're so good at their game. Or the guys at Bungie who play Destiny or Halo. They're super good. And they have events. They regularly have events where you can go against the developers as players. And you get a special trophy because the developers are just that good at their game. You get a special trophy or a reward or cosmetic saying, hey, I kicked a developer's butt. And they just don't do that. Like, LotR is the exact opposite. It's kind of like, hey, Cordovan, do you remember what happened in Forachel in the story? And he'd be like, yeah, this guy did this thing. And You'll be like, thanks, but so what happens at level 85 in Helm's Deep? So, it's kind of sad. Very frustrating as a player when you see a developer that doesn't really, that's given up hope, really, to play their game. But, that's why the players just gotta, like, group up and be like, hey, we're all gonna go out there and we're gonna make this game as good as it can. And you gotta go do it backwards. You gotta show the developers that the players care, and then you take it to the next level and actually start trying to expect them to do things. Yeah, I agree. Like, I'll use Fortnite as an example. I don't know if you've ever played Fortnite, but so PvP in any game is a huge, yeah, because it's a quick PvP game. PvP in any game is a huge attractor of players. So, like in World of Warcraft, there are a lot of people who do PvP in that game, and a lot of people are really good. League of Legends, the game is entirely PvP, and it's one of the most played games in the world. Black Desert Online, a lot of PvP. Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls Online, a ton of PvP. Guild Wars 2. You don't really ever hear about the people who are playing Guild Wars 2 who, oh, I just did the awesome new raid. No, they're talking about how their whole guild got together and started fighting another one. Exactly. And at the very least, like, one of the things that we are thinking about, that we were looking at was, hey, okay. And we didn't put this on the forum post. Asgilia's a garbage map. It's horrible. It's very poorly designed. It needs some one-shotters, and it also needs better, like, it's not good at all. You just die, you hit retreat, and you run to the middle of the map and you fight on the bridge. No matter where the fight starts, you end up on the bridge. I don't like Osgiliath. This map is just so perfect. It's got defensible locations, strategically located. There's a million ambush spots. There's some outposts that are, pretty even. There's, opposite sides. The only thing that you don't ever have is going down to where Old Plains Outpost was, and you don't really have a lot of going where the old Eredor End Outpost was. But besides those pretty much two locations, like, you can have a pretty good fight almost everywhere. Or hot zone pretty much anywhere. Especially because the reses are located pretty centrally, and it's very good to get. Very good mobility. And it's very diverse. There's hills, there's three-dimensional. Osgiliath is a really flat map. But like other games, like Fortnite, Minecraft even, their biggest thing is, like, generally I'll say younger people in those two games doing PvP. Doing mini games and stuff. And Lord of the Rings Online PvP is basically the mini game.
We're gonna go to breakfast tomorrow.
Okay.
Try at 11:45 ferry, so don't stay up too late.
Okay. And yeah, I think on the Osgiliath they should get rid of the middle bridge. Then it would be a much different map. I like the map, I like the design, I just don't like the concept. You run in and you go in the middle. And they need to be able to split those up so that you can go in kind of a circular fashion that the Attenmore's map has, a big circle. And it lets you run around all over the place. It needs a couple updates too. But really right now, I'd say, like, one of the poll questions we have on that forum post is, if there was a PvP update, right, and it was announced as a PvP update, like Lord of the Rings Online PvP, right, like U24 or U25 PvP, like PvMP update, right, and they updated all of the passives that we have in that forum post, like update those passives to proper numbers, and update and give free gear, right? Just do those two things. The question was, if you currently don't play LotRO, would you play LotRO? Again, if they had a PvP update. And there only been like 4 or 5 people who answered, because it's really hard to ask people who don't play the game a question about the game. But I have a lot of people in my Discord, and a lot of people that have been in my kin, and who come back every few months, right? Like, at least 30 people. And so I can imagine, like, on every server or every kin, there's at least 10, 15 people. So that's a couple thousand people who would just, if they said, hey, this is a PvP update, there would be people who see that and go, hey, shit, we gotta go play this game. There are people who look at the Lord of the Rings beacon waiting for an update that they're interested in to come back and play. And they just don't see that. And so, like, if they went and made... so you said you played 65? So if you played 65, that was probably 5 years ago, maybe? And then or maybe 6 years ago, 7 years ago? And then Osgiliath came out at level 100. And then, yeah, 115. 115 and 105 was pretty good PvP. Like, they were really well balanced. And 100. But once they added the 120, it just kind of destroyed everything. Because at 115, they had to do a PvP update. I remember, of August of 2017, they had to do a PvP update to balance it. They had a patch where it was like, hey, a lot of PvP and PvMP changes. And what's his name? I think it was Vastin, was working on implementing those changes literally up till the hour of the update. Yeah, I started playing when it went free to play as well. Even though I VIP and bought everything. Yep. There's so many people who do that. And the developer's answer to that question of, hey, how can we keep players, isn't, oh, let's make them new content. Right? They make new content every, whenever, every 6 months or whatever. But it's not like, hey, let's keep at level 1. It's, let's add 5 more levels. Let's give them an expansion so we get their money. And let's make the grind more tiers. Like Vastin in their letter, I think it was Vastin in their developer letter to the community this year. Yeah, exactly. The community, their community letter was talking about, he was like, oh yeah, we want to add, we've already added a 3rd tier, and we're thinking of adding up to tier 6. And I'm sitting here like, look, you're just going to kill PvP even more. People aren't going to buy the subscription because they have to do all this PvE bull crap. People are just going to quit the game. Exactly like that. Not because it's too hard. It's because you're doing the same exact instance 17 different times, you know, with just a slightly more stats on the enemy. And since the developers don't play the end game, they can't balance it. They just listen to players and then they overly nerf it or overly buff it. And like right now, the only way you can beat Tier 3 on any of the instances and Tier 2 on half the instances is to exploit. Yep. Exactly. You come back and grind. Which is the number one reason why I want PvP gear. Because then you don't have to come here and just do the stupid, oh, I'm going to do 3 tiers of grind just so that I can do PvP. Because the reason I play this game, and the reason why a lot of people play and pay for the game, is so that they can do PvP. But one of the things that we were looking at was, hey, make PvP free for everybody, right? Yep. I have a friend who did that. He grinded out LotRO points until like level 100 and owns every single region and expansion. And then he quit the game because it was like, and then he had to quit the game because he was just like, yep. He had unlocked everything. He had every creep class. He had all of the trait slots unlocked for everything. And he was just like, you know what? I can't do this. It's just... And so, like, I was just like, okay, well, I'm just going to pay for it. Because I'm lazy and have a job. And don't have money to spend everything. And honestly, the 2 new regions, they're not worth grinding. They're not worth grinding it. Like, they're cool. They're definitely really, really cool. But they're just not, like, they're not good. Like, you get the equivalent of Tier 2 gear. Well, like, Tier 1.5 gear. From the quests. From the newest area. Then you still have to grind all the blue essences, and you still have to grind, and then you still have to do Anvil, which you can't do without exploiting, and it's just like, give me some damn PvP gear. Yeah, and, like, a lot of people had no problem with doing the grind and stuff and just putting on a tortoise stone, right? Like, I knew, it was actually, there were a lot of Russian players who did this, but a lot of people that I knew, a couple guys from Brazil and stuff, they grinded out most of the game, and then once it became, like, to a point, right? So I had some guys who ground out to level 65, some guys who ground out to level 100, right? Whatever. They bought the areas with all their grinded points. 105 was great. That was a great raid. But then a lot of, just so many players just like, they just kind of like screwed all the players over by just going, okay, well, you know, we're just gonna half ass it. I liked Abyss a lot. It was really, really cool. It was a lot of fun. The newest one I don't like at all. It's just kind of like, you go to this room, you go to this room, you go to this room, you fight a boss, you clear some mobs, you fight a boss, you clear some mobs, you fight a boss, you clear some mobs. 1 sec. What you doing, cat? Meow. Ah, boy, where are we gonna go? Yeah, it's totally possible. Soldiers of the Moors. We took a lot of people. Oh! Yeah! I remember that. I remember Datuna. Yeah, I remember you. Yeah, I think you're still on my friends list. Somewhere. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, see, I personally wouldn't. Like, I just can't say, like, oh, hey, it's definitely worth. Because Arid Mithrin is a bullshit grind to get everything unlocked. Yeah. Arid Mithrin is a bullshit grind to get everything in. And stupid, the next area, what's it called? The Vales. The Vales is really cool and it's a lot easier, but it's still just dumb. Hey, Tuttle. Like, the new area is cool, but it's still, like, just another grind of, like, hey, do these resource instances. Do them daily/weekly. Get some points. Spend points on gear. Use that gear to go and do instances. Then you go crazy and, let's see, what is it? After you do the instances tier 2, you go and you do that grind again. And then you do them tier 3. And it's like, it's just like just this circle. Yeah, it's just like North Mirkwood. Like, I really enjoy all the Vales quests, and I think the Vales is great. Right? It's a really nice, fun zone. But it's just, like, it's horrible. It's horrible, all the grind that there's there. Like, it's fun, but it's just so grindy. Yeah, that's literally what it is. However, if you have the rep boosters for the new area, you can easily get that. You can easily get the maxed out rep before you've even finished the quests. Before you even finish the normal quests. It's super easy. However, if you want to get any of the items, for example, I'm going to show you the Ironfold, the relics, the crafted relic. Look at this crap. So you need to get this, right? Awesome. These are new crafted relics. Like brand new, level 120. Right? So you get 1,000 of your stat, 10,000 crit rating, and about 13,000 mastery. Which is awesome. It costs 10 Ironfold ingots and 3 artifacts of the Veil. To get an artifact of the Veil, you have to get a Rime of the Anvil. And then you trade the Rime of the Anvil and you get 2 artifacts of the Veil. So to get a full 2 of these, right, for 2 LIs, right, for your tanking and for your healing LI, you need to get 3 Rhymes of the Anvil. So that's either spending about 1,000 gold. That's either spending about 1,000 gold per Rhyme of the Anvil. Right, it's like 800 gold or whatever. Or about 400 gold per those whatever they called, the artifacts of the Veil. You either do that, or you go and you grind the tier 1 raid or the tier 2 raid if you're lucky. If your kin can do it. Because frankly, the stats are just so messed up and broken and off. I need 2 more sappers. You a sapper? Yes, you are. I personally don't think that it's that big of an issue. What I would like to see is, if we actually put this into that that forum post, I would like to see more LI rewards for doing PvP, right? Like, could you imagine this? 1,000 commendations for a Starlit Crystal. Okay, that's pretty reasonable. 2,500 commendations for Crystal Remembrance. Also pretty reasonable, right? Those are both reasonable amounts to get. Obviously bound to account, or bound to character. And then 500 per scroll, or even 250 per scroll. 250 commendations per scroll. That would make so many people would buy VIP because it was easier to get those commendations. So many people would get it. Would become VIP. Or, and heck, even if they made it free to play and added that change, like, even if they made it free to play and added that change, so many more people would be going to do PvP on both sides, because commendations are account bound. So now suddenly, you have all of these even more dailies that players can come on and do. You have even more dailies that players can come on and do, and get their allies maxed out. And it'd make... I don't know if you've seen it, but if you get the chance, look through that post. And there's a lot of really great ideas, and even people in the comments had a lot of awesome ideas. There are also some ideas that I really don't appreciate and don't think are very forward-thinking. Because, as I was saying earlier with Fortnite and Minecraft, the PvP games that you're competing with are those 2 games. And if they're not more or less action-packed, and maybe not easy, but kind of faster paced, which is what LotRO PvP can be when you have a lot of really good, you were there, right? You know how it can be. It can be very actiony and fast paced, not this crap of me running around not seeing a single creep for 2 hours. And generally cheap. Like, and what they can do is maybe not make it free, but make it be like, hey, you pay, the cost of an expansion, right? So about, what, 2,000 LotRO points, 2,600 LotRO points, 1,600 LotRO points, whatever it is, to unlock PvP. 1,000 LotRO points, and you've unlocked PvP. Boom. And then they could make a bunch of like packs, you know, bundles and stuff, right? So there could be a bundle for unlocking all of the creep classes along with unlocking free PvP. Boom, there you go. Someone can 4,000 LotR points for that whole thing. 4,000, you know, make a 4,000 LotR point pack or a 5,000 LotR point pack where it unlocks PvP on Freep for all your Freep characters and unlocks all the creep classes. I bet you people would pay for that. Yeah, I have a couple-minute delay. About 30 seconds, actually. Spread away! That's actually, I think that's Tuttle. Either that or that was someone else, but I thought that was Tuttle. Ran into an arcade or camp. Ooh. Did he kill you? I wonder who the RK is. Oh, I know who that is. Yeah, that's the skill locked guys. Tyvos and Casual Raiders and Big Forehead. Yep. Yeah, the second anyone, yeah. It's okay though. But so we're working on kind of reviving the PvP Datuna. And we so we're trying to revive it. I got a couple people. The Goblins for Hire guys are totally on board. They want to help. We got a new guy from Europe. So he's from the Netherlands. He's really cool. And he's, I'm going to start teaching him how to lead. I'm going to make a couple more YouTube videos regarding like how to grow, how to revive, how to get into PvP, right? I'm going to have a playlist for that, right? So anyone can go in and be like, hey, how do I do this? And there's going to be a bunch of like 1 minute to 5 minute videos on like, here's how you do this, here's how you do that. along with streams like this, and what is it? And kind of playing other games, streaming other games, making other videos, and trying to get subscribers for people to get those notifications and whatnot, so they can be like, oh, well, he's streaming a game, and be like, oh, well, he's playing Lord of the Rings Online. I wonder what that is. Let's go play that. And sort of stuff like that. Promote these guys. And sort of try to go about it that way, since they don't really want to advertise. However, there's a rumor, and it's just a rumor, but so that post that is in the comments, that's in the description, is yeah. However, right now the legendary servers are kind of going. They're crashing because they're not retaining people due to the fact that everything isn't balanced, or there's a lot of glitched out instances, and they're releasing it on the legendary server as a messed up instance, and then they're using the legendary server to beta test it, and then they have to fix it, and they fix it about 2 months in. So that's an issue in and of itself, and that's due to the fact that they don't play their own game. You're beta testing everything on, yeah, it's just bad. They're kind of expecting players to do it for them. But anyway, the rumor is, because that PvP thing that we posted, that is in the description of this video, got into the LotRO beacon number 116, LotRO beacon number 116, by the way. The rumor is that they are looking at doing a PvP update. And myself and my partner, we helped, the guy who posted it, we've been talking to Cordovan through Discord and the forums, and Cordovan gave us a couple updates on different things, and the people in charge of doing said updates are actually looking at it and think a lot of them are some pretty good ideas. And they really liked how we did the polls, and so that we could get people's opinions on our changes, so that the Vastin or whatever, who is, I guess he says yeah or no to the different things, Vastin really likes having that proof there, and that's why he always checks the forums. So having him there, having those polls there and people filling them out and giving it to developers, really has helped us out, and helped them out into getting what we want in PvP changes. Now, if only they would spend the $10 a month to get YouTube banner ads. Literally, it's $10. $10. $10 a week. And that gives you, I think that gives you 5 regionalized ads. So they're in Boston. If you paid $10 a week, people around Boston would see the Lord of the Rings Online banner ad 5 times a week when they're on YouTube. It's $10. Why are they not paying that? That's $120 a month. That is almost as much as one person buying VIP for a year. So we should have literal hundreds of people from Boston, or around Boston, playing Lord of the Rings Online. But we don't. It's $10. For the little banner or the little box in the top right corner. Alright. I think I'm going to... Because we don't seem to find any creeps, so that's kind of stinks. I think I'm gonna go log out for now. If you haven't already, smash that like button and possibly hit a subscribe if you want more. There'll be a video coming up, maybe not tomorrow because I'm gonna be gone at the soccer game, but sometime this week there'll be a couple of videos popping up, that Lord of the Rings one being one of them, and it'll be the intro to kind of PvP and stuff. So we'll be doing that, and I think that's pretty much it that I wanted to do. Didn't really get to do much, which kind of stinks, but that's how it is sometimes. It was nice talking. Alright, so I will see you all later.